Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey there, Motorheads. Thank you for tuning in. You know, we usually hear from John Gardner later in each show, but this time we're going to kick things off with John from a few years ago. This is from our old studio.
Now here at Motorhead Garage, we're all about our tunes, but sometimes you run into a classic Mustang like this where the owner wants to keep it absolutely classic. We don't want to disturb the radio, and it doesn't work. We want tunes. So I'm here with Matt. You got the solution from Out of Sight Audio. Matt, I got to play with it a little bit. It does exactly what it says, Out of Sight Audio. I'm not looking at it, yet this thing's playing killer music. I mean, it's an awesome product. How'd you come up with this idea?
Well, after years of owning classic cars and doing restorations, and I was restoring a 49 Plymouth, and it had a tube radio in it that didn't work, obviously, and I wanted to have some music in the car, and I wanted to play it from my cell phone. So I thought about the fact that you can control this all with Bluetooth now, and there's really no reason to mess with the stock radio. It doesn't make sense to invest the money into it, and I want to keep that classic look. So what we decided to do is we wanted to fix three common problems. Is when the radio doesn't work, you can leave the factory radio, and it'll look great and work just as it does. You can leave a factory radio in there that is working, which will work fine until you start streaming Bluetooth to it, then it'll switch off and this will take over, giving you modern sound and modern amplification. And you can also use it in radio delete cars or classic street rods, things like that, where you just don't want any radio exposed at all, going for that clean look.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to see it at all. Right. You got three models on the table. I see Mark 1, Mark 2, and Mark 3. What's the difference between the models?
Basically, the only difference is for 2 speakers, 4 speakers, and then 4 speakers with RCA outputs so that you can run a subwoofer, get a little more exotic, run some external amplification to make the system even louder, even better.
Now, what about they hook up on 12 volts? Is that how they work? Are there other systems they work with?
Yeah. These are all in one. They work from 6 to 24 volts, making them perfect for multiple applications. Golf carts, boats, big trucks, things like that. You can use them with British vehicles. They also work with positive and negative earth vehicles.
Wow, yeah, even the super old cars.
Right.
Now, what about the speaker system, though? I mean, this is cool, but now I got to go upgrade with all new speakers. It's going to cost me a fortune.
Actually, you can leave the stock speakers in there. As long as they work, this will work just fine with that setup.
Wow, how about FM? You said, you know, I can use the regular radio. Kind of weird, it just taps into it, but yet I still want to listen to FM once in a while. I mean, everybody in my family wants to Bluetooth. They're fighting over it for their phone and who's going to grab the Bluetooth, but right. I want some FM once in a while.
Right, you can set up apps, things such as iHeartRadio. You can listen to local radio stations through that, stream it over Bluetooth directly to the device, and still listen to your favorite FM channels.
Now, Matt, unlike my co-host Brian, he's super tech savvy. I'm not. I just figured out how to Bluetooth stuff. But are there any other ways that I can operate the system?
Sure. You can use a tablet. You can use an MP3 player that's got Bluetooth outputs. Really anything that's got Bluetooth out that will play music will work with this system.
And speaking of Bluetooth, I mean, I'll be in there and I'm trying to listen to FM or whatever. What's the range of this? I mean, can my kids walk around outside and tap to it?
Yeah, well, the beauty of this is this has got about 15 foot of range. So It can be mounted under the dash, in the glove box, behind the radio, under the rear package tray, almost anywhere in the vehicle. So it's got a pretty good range on it.
And that basically brings me to my next question. I mean, is it going to impact the value of my vehicle? I know a lot of these custom vehicles, when they go in there, they want to keep it original. I mean, it's not going to mess with it at all, is it?
No. This is the least intrusive package available. It really only requires switched power, ground, and wiring to the speakers, so you can leave the wiring harness of the vehicle pretty much intact, which will keep its integrity.
The simplest and least intrusive, all right?
Yes.
Cost effective? Is it cost effective?
Sure, sure. The Mark 1 for 2 speakers starts at $250, and they go up from there. Obviously, in classic car part world, that's pretty cost effective.
Now, one of the things I love, it's made in the USA, so that's awesome. But I'll tell you what, let's put the money where your mouth is, man. Let's see this thing work and let's listen to it.
Sure, so connecting to the unit is as simple as go into your settings, go into Bluetooth,
like any other device, it's just going to go ahead and recognize it. I mean,
yeah, it's going to go out and look for it. So there's out of sight audio
right there. Bam.
Connect to that. Now we're connected, and then you go back out, go to your music.
There you go.
And just start playing your music.
Listen to that.
That's all there is to it. And then the volume and everything's controlled directly from the phone.
Wow. Sounds great. Works great. Hooks up. Hey, what's the website? Where can we find it?
OutofsightAudio.com.
Keep it right here because we're just getting started here on Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist. Neo Chance Racing Converters, home of the world's fastest automatic door slammers. And by DragonfireTools.com, industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage.
Thanks for sticking with us here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. And we've already seen our buddy John Gardner. Here he is with his old partner, Brian Lowe.
You know, we're back underneath our F-250, and if you remember from a previous episode, the last time you saw this truck, we swapped on a Mag Hytec front differential cover on the Dana 60 axle under the truck. We've moved backwards a little bit aft underneath the truck, and now we're going to talk about the transmission and what a Mag Hytec transmission pan can do for you. John's already gone ahead and got things started, and I am going to provide you with the filter that Mag Hytec provided us.
Yeah, and it was pretty easy. I mean, you're doing a transmission service, couple tips, work your way from the bolts. I took them out here at the rear of the transmission, tipped the transmission down, took a bath, you know, a minimal bath, not a shirt-changing bath, but no matter what, you're going to get a little transmission fluid on you. Then we went ahead and unbolted the filter because they provided the filter in this kit, which is really nice. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you the O-ring, because the O-ring is an important piece of this puzzle, because if you pull the old filter out and the O-ring stuck up in there, make sure you go retrieve it, because you're going to get two O-rings in there. You're going to start sucking some air and you're going to do damage to the transmission. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this one, get it started. I'll pop it up in here. Brian, you got an awesome pan there.
Yeah, so we have our Mag Hytec pan, we have our stock pan off of the Torque Shift 6-speed that's in this F-250. And there's one thing you notice immediately, depth and volume. So the Mag Hytec pan, significantly more depth here, 5.5 quarts of additional transmission fluid capacity in the Mag Hytec pan. There's a magnetic drain plug here, and what's interesting is Ford provides a magnet in their transmission pan as well. Now, this was a bunch of crud that I wanted to kind of illustrate how good that magnet works, a bunch of metallic crud that came out of the fluid on that deal. Here's the downside of the Ford pan. There's no way to get into this thing and change the fluid without pulling the whole pan off. The Mag Hytec pan, when you want to make a transmission fluid change, you can take the drain plug out, which is magnetic, and you can clean that debris off. This is going to stay in there for the life of the truck. Another thing to think about and recognize here is strength. When we look at these two pans, we can see a very kind of thin stamped steel flange here and a very thick cast aluminum flange here. A356 T6 aluminum used by the Mag Hytec guys. The big thing here with these pans is that that additional flange provides incredible strength, and that strength, according to the guys at Mag Hytec, makes high-performance transmission builders giddy. It takes this case and really makes it stronger. Remember, a diesel truck like this is making 600 plus foot-pounds from the factory. The guy hot rods the truck, 1,000 plus foot-pounds going through the transmission. You need all the rigidity you can get. Finally, lastly but not leastly, are all these beautiful cooling fins that are machined right into the trans pan itself. This is what's going to help draw the heat out. They pass through to the underside of the pan, they transfer the heat out. The air rushing under the bottom of the truck helps to remove the heat as well. Really, really nice piece. And again, these guys have been in business for a very long time, since 1984, and their stuff has been on thousands and thousands of trucks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I can use a little help here. Whoa, this is a beefy unit, man. That other one's just a little piece of tin. So I got the filter up in there. I'm going to get this started. I'll give you a bolt. We'll get a couple of these started. But, you know, the whole concept of an automatic transmission, and you're producing heat. I mean, that's what a torque converter does. It produces torque. And when it produces torque, it actually beats the fluid in different directions, and the fluid in the different directions is what causes the heat. So this pan's going to be really phenomenal when it comes to actually removing the heat. So,
well, one of the other things that's great about Mag Hytec is that if you buy directly from the manufacturer, in almost every case they provide the filter with the new pan. There are some exceptions to that rule where specialty applications where you may need to buy a filter through them, but they'll sell it to you at a reduced price. The bottom line is you're getting all the parts and pieces you need to keep your transmission happy for a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Here's a couple bolts if you want to work on the backside. I really like the drain pan. I mean, what you took out of there, that little clutch material and stuff, I mean, the truck's fairly new. Imagine if you could just go in there and change the transmission fluid regularly instead of having to drop this whole pan and take a bath every time. What a huge concept. I mean, this makes a lot of help.
Yeah, well, this truck, too, is going to be used for hauling heavy loads. This guy's going to do some, like, hot shot style work with it. So that's another reason to have the additional capacity in the transmission pan.
Yeah, I mean, a transmission, once again, you're whipping that fluid up. It's going in the clutch packs. I mean, aeration's not a good thing. So if we got some extra fluid storage down here, you got better line pressure, you got a better transmission, it's just going to last a lot longer. That's the cool part.
So these the hardware here, zinc plated bolts, so you don't have any issues with dissimilar metals. Obviously the transmission case itself is aluminum, so when you go in here with these zinc plated bolts, you're not going to run into any galling issues or anything like that.
The guys' quality control are phenomenal too as well. I mean, they're just doing the quality control, the testing, serial number on every single case. It's phenomenal. I mean, I'll get this thing torqued to specifications, but you guys stick around. There's plenty more Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
Well, perhaps you're smelling some oil burning and you suspect a leak. You put some cardboard under there and bam, you got a wet spot. Yep, you got an oil leak. Welcome to this Amsoil Tech Tip. We're talking about high mileage oil and also what can we do to prevent these leaks. First of all, let's find a leak. How do you do it? We'll get you some of the Amsoil brake clean. Clean all the residual oil off of there, spray it down, get you some foot powder, spray it on there and check for the wet spot. You may be able to track it down. If you can't there, well, you get some oil dye. Put it in the oil, and I have a black light here and I can shine it on here. And when I put the black light on here, it actually emphasizes the oil. So if you have a little drop, it's really going to show up and you're going to be able to find it. But what causes all that? Well, there's a term called blow-by. You can see it right here. Every time it fires, you're going to get a little combustion and gases down in there, mixing with the oil and causing pressure. Not a good thing. The oil has to be designed for that as well, right, Len?
Well, it does. You get these vehicles that have a little bit more time on them, a little more mileage on them. Things like varnish, sludge, different things can build up in there. So you want to get an oil in that vehicle that's going to be designed to help go in there and clean that stuff out. That's our high mileage motor oil.
Now another thing is the vehicle seals. You could have cork, rubber, neoprene, they're all different designs. We can actually help with Amsoil. You can help prevent oil leaks with a high mileage vehicle, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And those things that you talked about are generally the culprit when you've got an oil leak happening. And so what we do here is we formulate with a decent amount of seal conditioner, seal swell additive. And what that does is it goes in and it helps to kind of rejuvenate some of those older, dried out, cracked seals.
And the proof's in the pudding. This is Dave's Xterra back here. He's been using Amsoil in there from the get-go. He now uses the high mileage oil. And you can too. Just go to amsoil.com.
I know lots of you have RVs. Maybe you love off-roading. Well, of course, you get into trouble out there, or just a simple matter of hitching up your trailer, you're going to want to use a bottle jack. There's no way to bring your whole floor jack out with you. But there's some pitfalls, Richard, that come with using a bottle jack when you're off-road or at your campsite.
Not everything is going to be flat on a vehicle when you want to use it. So especially if you're trying to jack up from an axle, you know, it's a tubular thing, it's going to roll off.
Yeah, and this is all you get when you get a bottle jack.
Exactly.
They're great jacks, but this is it. So in ideal conditions on something flat, you can jack something up easily. You're on the trail, the side of the road, your campsite, and you've got a metal axle on top of this, it's going to slide right off.
Exactly.
So you guys at Bottle Jack Buddy came up with a solution.
We did.
Yeah, what's it look like? How does it work?
Okay, so this is our regular size. This is our larger size. And what this does is this cradles the axle. So if you have a solid axle on here, it's not going to roll off the jack.
It's as simple as that. And there's the large is for the larger axle, but it also accommodates the larger saddle here on the bottom.
Yeah, depending on your bottle jack.
Gotcha. So let's look and take a look at how it'll actually, we can apply it here with this. And you know, two different sizes here. The axles, it fits perfectly. It'll keep it from sliding off here. How do I know this thing's going to last under the weight of my trailer or my vehicle?
Well, we've tested it up to 17,000 pounds.
That'll do.
100% U.S. steel, manufactured in the U.S. 100%.
Now, how do I know what size axle I have and which Bottle Jack Buddy I'm going to need?
You can get information from the manufacturer. You could also look online, but there's a lot of different applications. A lot of vehicles build different axles depending on towing capacity. And as far as the jack, a lot of bottle jacks build 2 or 3 different sizes. So always measure your axle. Always measure your bottle jack.
This is great for off-roaders, as we mentioned, and you showed it off first in Overland West last year. How was it received there?
So Expedition Portal did an article on it, and it was the top, most innovative product at Overland Expo West.
Kind of speaks for itself, too. And I understand you've been in some magazines as well?
Yep, Men's Journal being one of them as well.
Excellent. And there's a lot of imitators out there. How do we know that we're finding the real Bottle Jack Buddy?
So the best thing to do is look for the term Bottle Jack Buddy on the adapter, but also we have several retailers on our website, bottlejackbuddy.net.
We have the regular and the large. You know, what are the specs on those? What are the sizes?
So the regular will cradle up to a 3-inch axle, and the large will cradle up to a 4-inch axle.
And these are going to work for anybody if they're off-roading, if they're towing a trailer, and now even for a low-profile bottle jack like that, folks with a classic car or something like that.
Exactly. If you got an older race car or something like that, you can't fit one of these under the axle, you can buy jacks like these.
It's a perfect solution for jacking up your vehicle, maybe getting it out of trouble if you're off-road. It's the Bottle Jack Buddy. You can find it at bottlejackbuddy.net. How about our PaintedAutoParts.com Motorheads of the Week? This time coming to you from the Netherlands. Two guys named Tom and Hytec say that they've been hooked on classic American cars since they were just 5 years old. And they told me that American car culture is really big in the Netherlands, but that wasn't good enough to satisfy their appetite for American metal. In 2018, they made their first visit to the United States, and when they got to California, they were in classic car heaven. Tom and Hytec founded Classic Cars Gallery, and if you look them up on the socials, you'll find great photos and videos of some gorgeous classic American cars and trucks. Man, those things are beautiful. They say that while the car scene is good back home, they say that their fellow Dutchmen and Dutchwomen need to come on over to the United States and check it out, and we think that's a pretty good idea. To Tom and Hytec, we say bedankt. Thank you for putting your names in the hat to become the PaintedAutoParts.com Motorheads of the Week. Folks around the world are doing it, so why don't you? Just send us a note at motorheadgarage.tv and tell us why you or someone you know should be our Motorhead of the Week. Still lots more to come here on Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. So come on back, or to our friends in the Netherlands, kom alsjeblieft terug.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. Northwestern Ohio Tractor Pullers, promoters of the National Tractor Pulling Championships. And by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Now, if you have a motorcycle, or if you know someone who does, you're going to want to pay special attention to this one from the archives. When it comes to motorcycling, you know, you're out there to have a good time, but safety is the most important thing here, Keith. How does Eagle Lights sell safety?
Yeah, we sell lights and safety. We sell plug and play, high grade, high performance lighting for Harley Davidson and Indian motorcycles.
So what's wrong with the OEM lights that these motorcycles come with?
They're not bright and they're not safe. We offer plug and play high grade replacements for them. They're 3 times brighter and they're the best you can get.
How important is safety when it comes to riding a motorcycle? You ride yourself.
Yeah, it's the most important. If you want to keep riding, you want to stay safe.
And naturally, lights help you see, and they also help you to be seen, and that all starts with the headlights.
Sure, so these are plug and play, at least 3 times brighter than the stock headlight. So when a non-company car is coming towards you, they're going to know you're there, and you're going to be able to see what's on the road in front of you.
Excellent. Then you have a couple different styles here.
We have a variety of colors and a variety of styles. So we have our Halo style. It's a aesthetic upgrade. Some guys like that Halo look. We also have them available in chrome and black.
And let's go to the back of the bike now and talk taillights. Same sort of story there. You want it to look like it fits with your bike.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of different styles. This one's going to be one of our most popular. It's a strobing taillight. What ends up happening is when you hit the brake, it's going to strobe 3 times to let the people behind you know that you're there.
And most accidents on bikes happen when bikes are stopped, actually.
Yeah, at intersections and when turning. And that's when you're going to see the benefit of that light.
Cool. And you've got the red one and a couple other models as well?
Yep, we have them available in red, clear, and smoke. Today we have the red and the couple of smoked versions. We have available in a bunch of different sizes. So these are layback design, which is a bit of a more sleek design. We also have them in a low profile if you don't want the blocky stock taillight.
Harley folks love to customize their bikes. They love different looks. How do you cover all that when it comes to the turn signals and the running lights?
So we have a bunch of different styles. These ones feature full running lights, all 48 LEDs, they light up white, and then they'll also color changes automatically to amber. So you don't actually have to do anything, it's all built into it. The ones on the bike that we installed, those have 24 white LEDs that go around the outside, and then there's going to be another 24 on the inside. A lot of guys like to use those to match the Halo style lights that we have.
And let's talk about installation for all of the lights here. You installed them in the studio. Didn't take a whole long time at all. How important is ease of installation to you?
Incredibly important. So we like to make things a 5-minute install. Taillight, it's 2 bolts and a plug. The headlight, 1 bolt and a plug. We like to make things simple. We have easy to follow instructions on our website, but honestly, you probably don't need them. It's pretty simple.
Obviously, folks are going to want to spend more time riding their bike than fixing it, so the ease of installation is important. Also, customer service when it comes to actually ordering these lights. How important is that to you at Eagle Lights?
Incredibly important. So if you call us, you talk to a real person. You talk to one of us. We'll help you. If you just call us with a year, make, model, we'll get you the right lights.
And speaking of year, make, model, how many different bikes do you cover? Is it just Harleys? Do you have other stuff available? In
the thousands. I mean, we cover Harley and Indians, main specialty, but we carry stuff from Honda, Triumph, you name it. We have a lot of lights for it.
And how do I know what you have in stock for my bike?
It's pretty simple. You just go to eaglelights.com, you punch in the year, make, model of your bike, and it will tell you exactly what you need.
So you're not just looking for a headlight, then finding if it fits your bike. You put in your bike and it'll tell you everything that's available for that motorcycle. It's super cool. Folks that use your products, how much feedback do you get from them, and how much of your R&D comes from that?
A lot of it. We talk to Harley and Indian motorcycle owners all the time. They tell us what they don't like, and we release new products based on their feedback.
How important is it that you guys at Eagle Lights are also riders and you know what works, what doesn't work, and that sort of thing?
I mean, I ride myself. I mean, that's how we started the company. So we wanted to make better lights because there were none available.
I know you're concerned with delivering a high-quality light that's easy to install. What if there's an issue? What kind of warranty do you offer?
Any of our lights, it's a lifetime warranty. As long as you own it, we'll take care of you.
Can't get any better than that. These lights are super high quality, way better than the OEM lights. They're going to help you be seen, and they're going to help you see out there on the road. Check them out at eaglelights.com. That's going to wrap things up for this episode of Motorhead Garage. But if you can't get enough, find us on the socials. And if you have a product you want to see on our show, just send us a note at motorheadgarage.tv and let us know if you have a product or know of one that the world needs to see. From our entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools.com, we will see you next time. Drive safely.